Welcome back to episode 237 of the Guide and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about God, guns, and the responsible Christian gun owner's interest. On this show, we'll be talking about finishing well. How do you finish well? How do you finish well, Doug? We'll talk about that.
We will.
First of all, I'll thank our band sponsor, the Firearms Radio Network. We thank them for putting all that information out there for you guys to download, all those podcasts out there for your convenience. And just make sure that you check out some other shows over there. And just be aware that they're not all PG rated like ours.
Yes.
I don't know if ours are PG rated. We might be youth rated. I don't even think we're PG rated.
Yeah.
We might slip up something every once in a while. I think we're pretty clean family show.
We are nice and clean.
Nice and clean. I took a shower today too. Somebody's got a phone call. I also want to thank
ammo.com, our ammo sponsor. If you are in the market to buy some ammo, which who ain't if you go to the range, go check out our buddies at ammo.com. They have a promo code God and Guns that'll get you $20 off on an order of $200, which $200 buying ammo is not a lot of ammo. So go out there and check them out. Find your caliber or whatever you want. And Troy's pointing to it up in the top corner of the picture. And go check them out at ammo.com. And when you check out, remember that 1% of the proceeds that come out of their pocket, you get to pick what charity you would like it to go to. They have a lot of veterans opportunities that you can donate that money to. So not only are they providing good service, good cost, but they are helping out our servicemen and women and veterans out there and other organizations as well. But they take that money straight out of their pocket. So go check them out, ammo.com. Also, Crossbreed holsters. You've heard Troy and I talk about it. Most comfortable holster that you can possibly get. And Troy's got it up on the top of the other side, playing with a new camera, but or the backgrounds. But anyway, Crossbreed holsters. Troy and I both carrying a Super Tuck Deluxe. I got a buddy of mine actually that just bought a Super Tuck. He emailed me the other day and was talking to me. He said he wanted an inside the waistband holster. He never had one before. What did I suggest? Big shock. Crossbreed holsters. So he got him a Super Tuck, and he told me, he called me the other day. He was on his way to Savannah from Atlanta, going for a conference, and he was wearing it, had his shirt tucked in on the inside of it, had it all put away nice and neat. All you can see is the cross on your belt. And he said, I can't believe how comfortable this holster is. I'm like, just wait till you break it in. He had just gotten it. I said, wait till it breaks in just a little bit and conforms to your body. You're going to see how it's really like. So go check out our buddies at Crossbreed Holsters. They have a holster for you for pretty much anything. They even have one for a high point if you want one. So go check them out at crossbreedholsters.com and see what I'm wearing today.
Oh, yeah.
Carry the cross.
Speaking of carrying the cross over here, we went and visited Crossbreed on our way out to Montana.
Yeah, how was that? Pretty cool?
It was very cool. Got to see everybody. Got to see Nathan and Murray and Carol and Carol's family and Nico and all the gang from Crossbreed. I mean, everybody that you see at the shows, those guys are building holsters. When they're back there in Springfield, Missouri, they're putting holsters together for you guys. So it was a very great time to visit with them and get to see all the cool stuff they do and how they make it. And man, those guys are busting at the seams. They are filling up that building there, and they're going to have to grow. I believe they're going to build a bigger building and hire more people. From the looks of it, when I was there, they are just swamped. They don't waste no time. They have some really cool stuff and really cool trophies and stuff from, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the founder's name.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark. I was in there, and they have all kinds of trophies that he had taken before he passed. One of them was Murray told me that it wasn't finished being mounted until 2 years after his death. and it was a big old kudu. It was a huge. He took two like almost world class. I guess world class. The size of that thing is amazing. They mounted it on the wall the same height what the thing would be. So like the top of its head was like 6 foot tall. Of course, the horns go up another 3 or 4 feet. Huge animal. I didn't realize how big they were until you get right up by a mount that's mounted at the height. The thing was just amazing. Beautiful,
Kudu
beautiful
ain't no
animal.
joke, man. Those are big animals.
Yeah, it's bigger than most cows you see.
Oh yeah.
It was huge, but had a great visit. Got to talk to Carol some. Got to talk to, of course, Murray a whole lot. He took us on the whole tour. Showed Daphne and Audrey and Gunner went with me on the mission trip, and so we stopped in there and in the adventure rig and got to see all the different ways they put them together and how they're big piles of leather that they make them out of and horse hides, and man, it's just amazing all the different products they're putting together there, and they're always working on new things. So the new holsters that we got, he said these things are selling like crazy.
Oh, I bet.
We still haven't had him on yet. It's green, so it's losing in the background. You can see through it. But that's one for my Glock 19. And we'll start to have him on the show. He's been busy. They've been working hard, and we'll try to get him on hopefully next week or so.
It's been show season. They've been out traveling a lot.
Yeah, they have. They've been in quite a few different events, and so he was shooting a competition the weekend that we were there. His competition rig he was showing me. Wow, since I put that green up there, it's made my hat turn green. Weird. But he's got some new stuff coming out for the competition that will make really easy putting onto your belt. It's a new. I don't know if they even want me to talk about it yet, but it's something he's working on for a new type of clip to go on your belt, and hopefully he'll talk to us about it on the next show. He didn't really give me the okay to talk about that. That was something they were prototyping and testing out with these with his competition rig. He shoots whatever it is, 3-gun. So cool. All right, your guiding gun activities, Doug. What have you been up to since last we spoke?
Last we spoke, of course, been doing my Sportsman's Day devotional, church. We had 4th of July as well, Independence Day, while we on our break. You were out, and so I had some.
We were in 4th of July. We were driving between South Dakota and home.
South Dakota and home somewhere.
On the 4th of July. Yeah, it was. We started out Cedar Falls, no, not Cedar.
Cedar Rapids.
Sioux City. We started out in Sioux City, South Dakota, and we arrived back in Kentucky on the 5th of July about 2 in the morning.
Nice. That's not bad travel. Yeah. So we did the 4th. I had my buddy Rick from Tennessee came down over the 4th weekend, and man, he wanted to kill a pig, and he brought a few guns down with him. He wanted to get sight in, so we got to do a little shooting, sighting those in, and pilling around. So we went pig hunting, and I hunted 2 days over where I normally hunt, and we didn't see anything. I haven't had a pig on camera in about 2 weeks until day before yesterday. And
you killed them all.
Well, no, what it is, there's just not a lot of water on the property I hunt, and there's a creek on the other side of the road on that property, and they're staying down on that creek, and they're not coming back across. And finally, the last 2 days, we've had 2 boar on camera that are probably, I don't know, 80, 100-pound a piece, maybe. And I figure that big one we call Blackjaw probably ran them off, and since they were boar. So anyway, I might, after we get done recording tonight, I might take a little stroll out and just see if anybody's out and about and pop somebody. But anyway, we hunted 2 days on the place I hunt, didn't see anything. So my buddy Rick really wanted to kill one bad. So I called a friend of mine who's got a night hunting outfitter, which we've had him on the show. My buddy Scott, who's came on the show and talked to
Yep.
us before, and he does Night Reaper Outdoors. So anyway, I called him up and we went down with him and we cruised around all these peanut fields back and forth. We chased some coyotes around, got close a couple times, and they catch our scent. They were down windows. They catch our scent and they'd hightail it back to the woods. So about 4 o'clock, we pulled into a peanut field that we'd already been into twice that night. And we eased up in there. And it's so funny. You know, one guy's on the driver's side with a handheld thermal, and another guy is in the passenger seat with a rifle stuck out the window with a thermal. And they're glassing both sides of the little road that we're coming up through in the peanut fields. So Corey, who was in the passenger seat, he's like, wait. I think I got one. So we looked out. Sure enough, there was a pig out there. So we got out of the vehicle, and they were first time my Axel Syntactile has ever been snubbed on a pig hunt. And they snubbed me because they said they were suppressor snobs and I didn't have it suppressed yet. So they want to shoot suppressors, which out there, you don't want to wake nobody up at 4 o'clock in the morning, pull the trigger on something loud. So they said, we'll just take ours. So my buddy Rick grabs that gun. He goes across the field with Scott. Me and Corey just sit back at the truck because I wanted Rick to kill one. And, 20 feet out in front of us, they disappeared and we couldn't see them. But every once in a while, you'd be looking out across the field and you could see the glow off the night vision, the thermals. When they'd move their head to look at something, and then they'd get back on the scope and then it would disappear. Then they'd move, you could see. So we kind of tracked them. So he gets out about 120 yards on the first hog, and all you heard was whap. The smack of the bullet was just about as loud as what the gun was. So he comes back. He got about 150 pounder hog on the ground. So we stood up by the truck for a few minutes, and this is the good deal with having a suppressor. So we're standing there. It wasn't 20, 25 minutes, and Corey's scoping the field, watching, and this is a couple thousand acre of fields, peanuts, and about 400 yards out in front of us, he goes, man, he said, something big just stepped out across over there on the woods. He said, if that's not a bear, he said, that's a huge hog. Well, he handed me the gun. I got up on the tripod and I'm looking at it through the thermal, and it's facing me. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, I said, that is big, man. I don't know. That might be a bear. And by the time that joker turned sideways, and he was really long, like a hog, and I was like, nope, that's a pig. It's a pig. So we're like, all right, let's go get him. My buddy Rick's like, he said, all right, good luck. He said, shoot straight. I said, I ain't shooting. I handed him the gun. I was like, we brought you out here to kill pigs. Go get him, sport. And across the field they went again. They were out there 10 or 15 minutes. Whap! Done. Right behind the ear. Dropped both of them. We had one down that was 150 pounds, and the last one, who was probably 275 or a little bigger. He was big old hog. But Rick had a good time, and that's what counted. He got to kill him a couple of pigs, and that's what we were aiming for. So it was fun. But the gun we were shooting was an AR platform with an Armasight thermal scope on it and I can't remember. I think it's an Omega. It was an Omega suppressor on a 6.5 Grendel. And man, that thing was a tack driver, and they put them down. 2 shots, 2 hogs, piece of cake, no problem.
Cool deal.
So we had fun with that.
All your gun activity?
Yeah, pretty much did a little shooting. Shot a couple of my guns. Hey, if you are planning on coming down for the Bulwarks class, if you are in the area around Red Hill Range, up near the South Carolina, around Augusta, that area, it's in Martin, Georgia. If you haven't signed up and you're planning on doing it, everybody sign up, because I'm going to be there. Are you coming down to that?
What's the date again?
It's August 31st and September the 1st.
No, I won't be able to come to that. That's my son's birthday and my granddaughter's birthday, and we got stuff going on that weekend.
Gotcha. Well, half the God and Guns crew will be there, and I think Steve, who is online watching tonight, Steve's going to be there with us, and my buddy Sean's going to be there, and I have a few other people that are coming.
Cool.
So we need to make it a God and Guns podcast shooting event.
Yeah.
So if you haven't signed up, hey, it's for a training class, for a carbine rifle class. It is a good price. It's a good deal. Come out, hang out with the guys, hang out with us, and we'll have a good time shooting ARs or whatever you decide you want to bring for your carbine. But
Yeah.
we're gonna have a good time.
Just make sure it's magazine fed and holds at least 20 rounds.
Magazine fed and 20 rounds. I got that covered.
And you need to have your carry pistol too, whatever it is that you're going to be going to battle with.
Yep.
So you work on transitions. So should your rifle fail, you transition to your pistol quickly and finish the target off. So you'll need to make sure you've got that plus 2 spare magazines for changeouts.
And what
If you wear a chest rig, you can put the magazines on there. Or you can put them on your side wherever you want to put them at. But whatever it is that you take, you'll find out whether or not it's any good or not, because it will seriously shake out any kind of failures you're going to have in the field during this event. And don't worry about it. I mean, that's what it's for. This class is to get you acclimated to trying to use your firearms in the most stressful situation and fast changes and all these things. You're going to find out what you hate about your gun. You're going to find out what's good about your gun, and you're going to find out if you want a different gun or the way you got it set up. If my advice to you on the carbine is go as lean as you can. Don't put a bunch of junk on it. Try to keep it as unobstructed for grabbing a hold of, and you need a good 2-point sling on it because you're going to have the thing slung a whole lot. So make sure you got a good, strong sling. I mean, there's a ton of them out there, but get you a good, high-quality sling that's going to hold your gun securely, and that you need to get used to putting it on and taking it off with your head, your ears on and all that stuff. But and bring spare parts. If you got a spare parts kit for your AR, bring it. If you got a spare AR or a spare carbine, say you got an AR and an AK or whatever, bring both, because one might fail on you. One might just collapse. I mean, they're going to bring some guns, but if they have a bunch of people have failures, they may not have enough there. You know what I'm saying? So if you got a spare, bring it. If you got an AR pistol, they'll let you use that. So as long as it's safe, it has to be. It can't be one of these little like Doug 7.5 inch with no cheek rest. You need something you could get your cheek rest on at least, and something that's going to shoot 50 meters fine, and it's something's reliable. You don't want something that's going to jam every third shot or every fifth shot. Make sure you got some good quality.
Hey, do they give you a chance to dial in before you start, right?
Yeah, if you let them know up in advance, so they got time to work it in. But if you can get it dialed in as best you can before you go.
At what range?
It's best. At 50 meters. So if you're 0 to 50 meters, it's good out to 200 meters. So on 223, 50 is like the as it's climbing. If you 0 there, it'll be within an inch or so out to 200 meters. So unless you got a 7.5 inch barrel, then it might be might drop after 100.
200.
They had us do some shooting at 200, but that's not really part of the class. It's mostly just teaching you how to run it up close, personal, and how to take on multiple threats, how to shoot around cover, how to shoot prone. We didn't go prone. We went kneeling. We went around cover. Shooting with a buddy, and just a lot of it's just a good basic entry carbine class, and carbine working with a pistol. So you switch it from carbine to pistol back to carbine, clearing malfunctions, and they'll have you run malfunctions, and they'll have you changing lots of magazines, and you'll get used to dropping your magazines on the ground and letting them go and grabbing a fresh one. And I'm not going to teach you the class, but it's a great class. It's a very, very good fundamental class, and then from that you can build on that and go a whole lot deeper with it.
Yeah, because I have both my rifles are zeroed at 100, so at 50 yards,
back them down just a little bit, just because you're going to be shooting a lot of paper at close range. You won't be in that because you're shooting a little kill zone. I mean, seriously, it's about the width of, I don't know, a Band-Aid, and about maybe 7-8 inches tall on the chest, and then you got ocular window, which is like what, 5.5 inches wide. And it's about the width of a Band-Aid. You're gonna be shooting that from anywhere from 5 yards to 50 meters. So you'll be up shoot them close, and you got to hit those same zones at different ranges, different distances. So you got to know what your hold off is. And I would recommend a red dot, because you're not going to be shooting, long range. It's not a hunting rifle class. It's a working carbine class.
Right.
It's for defensive carbine.
It's going to be fun. I didn't know if they let you have a chance to get zeroed before you started, or if you needed to do it.
We had one lady request to get hers zeroed, because I think they'd like thrown together the night before the class, and so they were worried that it would be off, and it needed quite a bit to get zeroed. We went in there cold. Gunner and I zeroed ours a couple of days ahead, but ended up mine was a little bit high. I mean, the first run through. I mean, when you first get there, they're going to run you through the drill that you got to qualify on at the end of the class, and so the first drill I had 16 out of the 20 shots in the boxes.
Oh,
but
nice.
but I was really high, so I was actually aiming lower than I should have been. So I didn't go for the ocular window, but I pretty much nailed it on the first before I ever got started, just because that trigger was so good on that rifle, and that we had it pretty well dialed in on the sights.
But you knew to sight it in at 50.
Yeah, I knew we'd be running 50 meters, so that's what, 61 feet. I don't know, something like that. It's a little bit more than, it's what, 39 inches per meter, 39.24 or something like that.
So about what?
We might be able to do
60
math.
yards.
Yeah, something like that. Let's see, 39 point. I don't know. Somebody out there got the mix. Times 50 divided by 12 divided by 3. 54 and a half yards, something like that. It's almost 50 yards. I mean, a little bit more than 50 yards.
Yeah, so I know right now, if I leave mine just like they are, I'm dialed in 0 at 100. I know I'm going to be low at 50.
Is that with a red dot?
No, that's with the scopes.
Yeah, I would, unless you're really fast with a scope, I would go with a red dot.
Well, these are, they acquire really quick. They're not real high zoom scopes. I can dial them down.
I understand what you're saying. I'm still saying the red dot's going to be 3 times as fast as a reticle.
Probably, but I don't have one.
You have a red dot?
I don't have one with a red dot on it anymore.
Dude, optics plant, man.
Well, I got optics. I got a Burris TAC 30 on one and a Vortex Viper on the other.
I ran with a EOTech, big old EOTech on there, and then I put a Hollow Sun, or I don't know. I got something back here. I put a Hollow Sun, I think, on his, and it ran flawless. I mean, it's $119 for the red dot. I mean, it runs like 2-3 years on a battery or something. It worked fine. So no, what was that? No, he didn't run a Hollow Sun. I put a Hollow Sun on the other Kirby. What was it he ran? Oh, he ran a Aim Point.
Mm-hmm.
Aim Point Patrol, which is a little bit bigger than your regular red dot, but it's one I've had for a while. I picked it up for like, I don't know, 30% of the cost of a regular Aim Point. I think the thing new was like $700, and I got it for like $300, $279, $300 for some reason on DeVore, and it was well worth the money. It's been a great scope, a great sight, I guess I should say. It's not magnified, but I'm trying to think of what Gunner's problems was. He was having trouble with his magazines. We'd bought a magazine vest, or I don't know what you call it, loadout vest. It had mags all across the front, and had dump pouches in the sides, and it was just a little bit big for him. And he was having trouble switching out mags. Of course, he'd never run a carbine. I mean, he shot them before, but he's never ran a carbine in a class.
Right.
He's never been in a class, and he went there and shot a 67 Colt, which was pretty good. I shot a 70, was it 78, 70? I can't remember what it was, Colt, and so I thought he did really good
And
for his age.
What'd y'all shoot to qualify?
That it was that. It was that site. It's like I forget what the number site is.
No, I mean,
I think it listed
score,
on
what was your score on the qualify?
Oh, when I finished
Yeah.
at the end of it, I did a 92.
Oh, nice.
I would have done. I got a coin for it. Once you get, if you get over 90, you get a coin, which I think I got the 21st coin that they've given out. And Gunner missed it by, I think he got an 80. He got like an 80 or 79 or 80 at the end. He had some mechanical failures at the last day, at the end of the last day, and I don't know if it was because of ammo, because we had some primer failures, had several primer failures, and that's something you just got to be prepared for, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It was real humid. It was raining, and it was real, you know, it was high humidity and raining the whole time we were doing the, you know, off and on in the mornings and afternoons we were doing the class. If those primers get wet, man, they can go bad. So I don't know if it was that. It wasn't a light primer strike, because we'd have a hard primer strike, but no discharge. I had a total of 6 rounds out of, I don't know, probably 640, 650 rounds I ran in 2 days. So I had like 1% failure rate, which I guess isn't bad, but it's bad when you need it.
Yeah.
It's bad when I had to make up for it, especially on the first, you know, when you're 5 yards away and you got the target right in front of you and you go click and you ain't got time to cycle the action and get back into the, you know, you got 1.5 seconds to pull that off. From the time they say go, you got 1.5 seconds to get your 2 rounds, you know, get your gun up on site and 2 rounds off in the kill zone. That's pushing it, man. It's moving, and so when you hear the click, and if you don't immediately rack that round, you know, rack that and go again, you've done lost the opportunity. Then you could, but on the second series, so like you got 2 series at each distance, so 5 yards, you got 2 opportunities. First opportunity is two rounds, no more 2 rounds in your time allotted, which is like 1.5 seconds. Or excuse me, on your first round, on your first series, you get like 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds. Can't remember if it's 2 or 2.5 to get off 2 rounds cold up, pop, and, you know, scan for targets, scan for other threats and things like that. Go back to safe, and then they call it again. You come up and you get 3 rounds at the second opportunity. It's 1.5 seconds, and so you got less time, but you're already zeroed at that. You know, you already know what the sight picture looks like at that distance with your rifle, and so you can get on target quicker. But if you can do more than 3 rounds, you can go ahead. You know, if you like only got 1 round on your first one, you can take 4 rounds on your second one. Get it?
Yep.
So if you like lose rounds on the first series, like you get up and you get one good shot, but you buzzard out before you get to the second shot, you can carry that round. And if you can pull off 4 rounds in the next series, you can do that. And if you carry it back to the next distance, of course, each time you move, it's getting harder because you're further away from the target, and you're getting more tired, and you're under stress. You're moving and you're dropping. You got to do mag swaps and things like that, and you got to clear things. You got to do check. You always got to do a function check every time you get done. You got to do a function check, top off whenever you think you need to top off. It's a great class. Probably spent too much time talking about it, but
I'm ready, man.
If you guys need to sign up if you haven't already.
Yeah, come out and join us.
All right. So my guiding and stuff, mission trip to Great Plains Gathering in Billings, Montana. So every year our church has a mission focus in Montana. The last 2 years we went in Wyoming because our partner church in in Billings, Emmanuel, there in Billings, didn't have anything for us in Montana. We didn't have any Indian, Native American mission focus out there. We've been trying to develop a new one. We had three out there in previous years, but they've all three dried up, or people retired, or people have died, or whatever the case is. Those connections are not there anymore. So we've been partnering with Emmanuel as our sister church out in that region to try to help us find opportunities, since they're working in that area. And they had in Wyoming last year, we were in Gillette, and we worked with Redemption Church the last 2 years, and that was very successful. They're going great. If you guys are in the Gillette area, go check them out. Don is a great pastor, and Josh is a youth leader, and just a great bunch of people there. And that church is growing, and God's blessing. So we're happy with that. So we went ahead and looked for a new focus, and we've been working with, trying to work with Josh Charette, the pastor there at Great Plains Gathering, for 5 or 6 years now. Just didn't have an opportunity he didn't have anything for us to really do as a mission team, a summer mission team, until this year. And this year they had been given a church, or they acquired they acquired a church and two buildings beside of it, and one of the two houses beside it. One of the houses they've already completed and finished, and they're using it for church planters. So they're coming in, and Josh is mentoring church planters there in Billings, and teaching them how his church plan, or how his model for church planting is. And there's already one family living in that house, and the other house needed tons of work. And so they at first thought about tearing it down and just making it parking, and then they said no, it's too much money to update. And the others said no, they can do it. So it ended up that they decided to rehab it for the same purpose, to house other church planters that will be coming. And the purpose of those guys is to go out and start new churches all across the country. We're hoping that back on the Indian reservations, that would be a goal. And so they had this church, they had this residence that was over 100 years old. It's probably 110 years old, and nice house. Just it just had, over the years, been let go. And so we went in there and leveled out the floors. They poured a new basement, and so we leveled the floors up and got everything squared back up. Drywalled out the basement, and we scraped the whole outside of the house of its old paint, and puttied and caulked, and repainted the house outside. And so there's some great pictures. I'm thinking I put a link. Maybe it's just on my own Facebook page, but there's a page called the Calvary Montana Mission Trip 2019. So if you guys want to see pictures of what all happened, there's lots of pictures of the work and activities going on. But went inside and took out some old cabinets and stuff, and resurfaced walls, leveled out some ceilings. And so it was a good working vacation, working mission trip. One we haven't had in a while. A lot of ours have been just painting, or I think last year was just evangelism. We're just going out and reaching people in the community, telling them about the church, and getting them connected with the pastor and with the church itself. So it was a great trip. It was a tiring trip. I had finished up. I had, you guys know, I've been asking you guys to pray for my neighbor. She passed about 3 days before I headed out on the mission trip, and we were with her and her husband until the end. And we'll talk more about that in the main segment. Not any kind of specifics per se. We're just talking about the aspects of that. But she went home to be with the Lord. Her suffering ended, and it was a very emotionally draining and tiring process. And I know a lot of our listeners have been through that. I know a lot of you guys that sent me prayer requests and have had to deal with that end of life scenario, and it's not ever easy. But we endeavored, and we finished, and we are still endeavoring. Um, But I appreciate the prayers. I could feel the prayers. I knew the guy was with us in that because I just didn't have the energy that it took to do what we did. So we really appreciate that. Um, what else did we do? I did, as soon as I got back, I did church security. We've got vacation Bible school this week. I was serving last night for security for a while, and then I had another guy come in and relieve me so I could head on home. And then that was about all the God stuff. I mean, we on our trip out there and back with the kids, I got to spend some quality time with them, and we all camped in my truck camper. So it was tight quarters for three of us, but we made it work. So had a good trip. After the mission trip, we went ahead and went on further out towards out to Livingston. Went on south down to Prairie, Montana, and we camped real close to Prairie, Montana, and so the kids could fish and I could fish, and we got just to enjoy nature and see lots of scenery and just God's creation. It was awesome. Okay, so on the gun side, we didn't talk about visiting Crossbreed. Stopped on the way out there. Carried concealed all the way out there, all the way back. Even in Illinois, I carried concealed, but I didn't get out of the car. I carried concealed in my car, which you're allowed to do. You're just not allowed to step out of the vehicle. Then you have to secure your weapon somewhere. I carried, when I was in Montana, I was out in the bear country, I carried the Glock 20, 10 millimeter, old Gen 1, and I picked up some bear loads. I think I put a post out there of the bear loads.
You did?
Yeah. So hard cast, 200 grain, full power 10 millimeter will do some damage if it gets the opportunity on bears. I'd rather have 12 gauge, the belt fed 12 gauge would be probably better to deal with bears, but we're carrying something with you while you're fishing. A 10 millimeter with 16 rounds and a spare mag with another 15 rounds is not bad. So did that.
No, that would work.
Yeah. Well, we hope. You never know. I mean, if you get sight on it quick enough, maybe you can get away, but I didn't carry bear spray. I did have some bear bells, so if we were walking, we were making noise, we were talking, or we were jingling bells, walking, so we wouldn't sneak up, spook one. That's when you get mauled. Is when you come up on them and they don't know you're coming. Unless they're hungry, then it doesn't really matter. All right, so that's my guiding gun activities. EDC check. I'm carrying the ubiquitous, famous Glock 30S and 45 ACP in my Crossbreed Super Tuck, and I got the suit of the gun, enhanced lifesaver, and I've got a soft T tourniquet in my right pocket, and I've got E2D Defender in my light pocket, and I've got a Microtech SOCOM Elite in my other light pocket because it fits perfect in there. And I got a little Olight SR1 baton. I love that little thing. It's been with me. I used that the whole 2.5, 3 weeks we were on the road. I only had to charge it once. And I mean, I used it a lot. I used it when we was down in the basement cutting in the dark or down there where there wasn't much light. I put the light in my mouth. I'm running jigsaws to cut out holes for plugs and all that stuff. So it's just a handy little light. I mean, it's not a tactical light. I mean, it's not like it's not like the E2D Defender. I mean, it's not like that, but it is a nice, small, rechargeable. Works for whenever you need light, and you can adjust it up and down, whatever. But that's my EDC. What you got tonight, Doug?
Tonight I got the old faithful Glock 19 with my student of the gun night sights. So I am digging it. It has actually it has finished off 2 hogs since the last time I talked to you, probably. So it takes them down.
I like my Glock 19 or Glock 19s. I got 2 of them right here, I think. Yeah, I got the one I built, the Franken Glock. It's got the Suarez slide on it
Hmm.
and the Lone Wolf lower and the Glock 33 magazine. So that's ready to rock if I need it. And then I got the old Gen 2.5, I think it is. But I love the feel of it. I
Oh
just
yeah.
like I just like the 45 a little bit better. I don't know how else to say it.
No, I like 45s too, but I've gotten used to this 19 now. And of course, I got a 21, so
Yeah, I like the 21 too. 21 is probably the best shooting of the Glocks.
yeah.
Just something about the grip and the weight. It just you can rock on with that thing.
I was thinking about taking it up there to that rifle class and use that as my carry gun for the class.
As long as you can grab it and whip it out there.
Oh, I can, I can let
As
some
long,
lead fly with that bad boy.
as long as your pants don't fall down around your ankles.
Yeah. Plus, plus the hole's a little bit bigger, so if I'm closer to an edge and I cut an edge, it counts.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you ought to take that 460 if that's what you're thinking.
I ain't bought that yet.
Oh, you haven't bought it? I thought you already got it.
No,
I was looking one in Montana.
I talked myself out of it.
Oh, did you?
I did. Not that, not that I didn't. I don't want it, but I was like, I just conserve a little money, not buying. I haven't bought a gun in 6 months, dude. I got the itch bad.
Oh my gosh, how you living?
It's hard. It is hard.
I only bought a gun this year and last year. Steve, I don't know which light you're talking about. The Surefire is the tactical light. I don't know if you're talking about that one. That's a
I think he was talking about the one on
ATD.
your 30.
Oh, on the 30. The 30 has got the Surefire what is it called? XC1. They make an XC2 now, which is supposed to be brighter, so I would get that one if I was buying a new one. I think it's not on there, is it? No, I thought it might be on my ADC stuff. It's a XC1, and I think the XC2 is like twice as bright, so I'll go with that. This is for like in the house. It's like up close. I'm not going to be shooting somebody 100 yards with a pistol anyway, so it's not going to throw like this, like this Surefire will, but it'll throw good enough for house clear, and it won't It's not so bright that it will blind you to. If you turn on some of these lights at 650 lumens inside of a room, everything turns white. I mean, seriously, everything turns white, and you lose your night vision, and you can't pick up. And it's a big spot. Whereas this thing's really got a broad spread on it, and illuminates the room. So if you're in a dark room, you flip it on, you can see everything fine with it. It's not super bright, but it's bright enough. If you're going out to your car, it's perfectly fine for that. It lights up everything around. I've walked out to at the road before, and I can see the mailbox with it at 70 yards, 80 yards out. It's not a pinpoint, but I've always got this light on me for if I need to shoot, spot something further out, identify something further away. I've always got that on me. So,
Steve says that light rechargeable.
which one are we talking about?
The one on your gun.
One on the gun is a AA battery.
AA.
Yep, it's got a little screw in the front. Take it out and throw another AA battery. I like that. So, like when I fly and stuff, I take the battery out so they don't have any problems with them going through, whatever, with them checking it. They don't like to have certain batteries, so I just take the batteries out and buy new ones when I get there on the lights and things like that. So, it's not a big deal. And that's all I got to say about that. All right, so what else? I don't hear you, Doug.
You still with me?
I hear you now.
You froze up. You froze up and just stopped talking.
Oh, you did the same thing. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's you. I quit hearing you talk, so that's all I know. Then I disappeared, and then I came back. So. All right.
I got you. You
guys are listening. Go ahead down there and check that like. Go ahead and make sure you do that before you leave. If you guys got to go or something, You guys just go and check that like, because that really helps us out. I just noticed there was no likes over there. All right, you'll get some feedback.
We do got a feedback.
And it came in on my birthday too.
It did. It's actually a 5-star review from Dirt Rooster on June 25th. He said, "Look forward to every episode." That was the subject. He said, "I love this podcast. As a gun nut and a Jesus freak, this podcast gives me just what I'm looking for. So glad I found it. Very good family-friendly podcast."
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Yes,
that.
indeed.
And you've got a joke.
I got a couple jokes.
It's a Chuck Norris joke.
I got three Chuck Norris jokes.
Chuck Norris jokes.
I did. My buddy.
Use them all up on one show.
I did. Well, they were short, so I figured I might as well do them. So our buddy Chad sent me some Chuck Norris ones, and I thought these were pretty good. I actually had not heard these, so I was like, well, hey, let's go for it. So the first one: Chuck Norris and Superman once fought each other on a bet. The loser had to wear his underwear on the outside of his pants.
We've done that joke before.
Have we?
Yeah. It's been about 3 years ago.
Oh, well, we got new listeners.
This month is starting my 6th year. I think I started in June or July, 6 years ago. Wow.
Well, I gotta be coming up not too far behind, because
Christmas
I started Christmas, because I started on episode 43, I think it was.
Yeah.
So our second Chuck Norris joke. If we've told this one, I apologize, but I hadn't heard any of these three, so I figured, hey, what the heck. So Chuck Norris went skydiving and his parachute failed to open, so he took it back the next day for a refund.
I don't remember that one. I think that is a new joke.
I was like, that's pretty good. And then last but not least, while learning CPR, Chuck Norris actually brought the practice dummy back to life.
Okay.
Them chest compressions work, I guess. If you Chuck Norris.
It's a Pinocchio thing there. I'm a real boy.
Brought him back.
That's good. That's some good Chuck Norris jokes. 2 out of 3 we haven't done before. So
yep.
Who gave you those?
Chad.
Chad. Okay, I thought Chad probably.
Chad's keeping me in jokes. He's keeping me in jokes right now because he's out of school, so he's got time.
Someone sent a Chuck Norris meme or something. Do you remember getting that?
Chad sent me 3 of them, actually.
Was that the memes that you just read?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Because
yeah.
I think I was in Montana, and I think we're like fishing or something. I saw it pop up. I think I put a thumbs up or something. All right, so our Bible verse this week, coming from Romans 5, verses 3 and 4, the ESV version. And not only this, but we exalt in our tribulations, knowing that tribulation brings about perseverance, and perseverance, proving character, and proving character, hope. So what does that mean? That so as believers, we're not immune to problems. That when you get saved, it doesn't make everything rosy and everything is singing birds and love songs. It's we're going to still endure. The rain rains on the just and the unjust. The tribulations come up on both. The only difference that we have is that we have a hope, and our hope is in Jesus, and that He is going to do what He said He's going to do. He died and resurrected Himself, and He is now at the right hand of the Father. So we have a eternal hope that death has no sting for us as believers, because Jesus showed the way, right? He showed us that He could do it. And so what we have to remember, though, is that we are going to have tribulations. We're going to have periods of trouble. We're going to have anxiety. But we need to keep our hope and persevere. We need to remember that we will have the eternal salvation. We will have freedom from this body which is decaying. We will have a new body. We will have a no more pain, no more suffering. If we endure, if we continue to stay in our relationship with God, if we continue to stay in the scriptures and study and know more about God and continue to love God as He loves us, if we continue to show the love that God has shown us to our others, and we need to persevere. Persevere, I used to think about persevering. Remember, we used to go hiking? We'd
Oh
go on
yeah.
those long hikes. And Steve would take us up the side of these mountains and stuff. And I'm thinking, I just gotta make it to the next stop. I just gotta make it to the next stop. And I'm carrying that 90-pound pack that Steve has brought along for me to carry like a pack horse. And I'm slogging in the mud and stuff. And I'm thinking, persevere, persevere. That's not persevering. I mean, that's enduring. That's keep moving forward. Persevering is keep on doing what God has called us to do daily, whether or not you hear from Him, whether or not you get an attaboy, whether or not people recognize it or not, that you continue to focus on the goal, right? You continue to focus on, in our case, heaven and the long term, right? The eternal goal that we're not from this earth. We're aliens to this world. We have an eternal home away from this world. That when our body dies, we aren't stuck in the ground. We are going to be at the, we're going to be there with the Father. We're going to be there with Jesus, and our suffering, our days will be over. So perseverance is calling us to take that daily dying to ourselves to what our body or flesh wants to do. Daily my body and flesh wants to stay in bed, or it wants to stay in the chair watching TV, or it wants to stay on the back porch with a cigar. It doesn't want to do anything than rest and sluggard and glutton and whatever debauchery that my mind will bring to thought, right? And I know you guys are the same. And maybe you guys don't fight the same demons I fight with, but you still have your demons that you're fighting with. And so each day we need to stay plugged in the Word so that we are focusing on our goal. We're feeding our spirit the word, the nutrition it needs. We're sharpening our sword. The more scripture we have, that we know, that we have within our hearts, we have within our minds, the sharper our sword is. So when Satan and his minions come at us, we're able to quickly take out our sword of truth and whack them, right? And put it down and keep on moving forward. And we're not saying there wondering what we should do or debating about what path you should take. The path will become clear as you keep reading scripture, as you keep ingesting it into your body, your mind, your soul, and you keep your eyes focused on what God has called us to. And so my encouragement in these verses that you will persevere, that you'll continue on. And what that does is that builds, as it says here, it builds character. It proves your character, that you're someone that can be relied upon because you're trustworthy, you're honest, you're faithful, you're knowledgeable in scripture, and you're able to debate without losing your temper. You're able to do it with ease because you've practiced your art. It's your martial art of spiritual warfare, right? You have the scriptures, you have your faith based upon what God has done for you in the past, and the scriptures are full of the faith that those who followed Him have exhibited throughout the scriptures. That you find your faith there. You find your faith in the daily walk, and then you give things to God, and you see Him work out those things, and it just continues to grow your faith. So persevere, and then keep doing that until that's your character, until you reach the end, right? You finish well. And that's going to transition into our main topic tonight. Doug, anything you want to say about those verses there, Romans 5, 3 through 4?
Nope. Just continue on the good fight.
There was mud flaps back in the 70s on these semi trucks. Had to keep on trucking.
Keep on.
Yep. Keep on trucking. And that's at this sort of rings true with me, or that's just reminds me of that period back in the '70s, seeing all those trucks that keep on trucking, just keep on trucking, just keep on going the path that God is guiding you on, and until you get to the end of it. All right, so finishing well. uh, the journey that we took with my neighbors, and I'm not going to get personal about it, but I know that a lot of you guys have been through that. I know that a lot of you all, I know that Doug has dealt with that with both of his parents, having dealt with that long, uh, horrible disease, cancer, and how it just wears on the body and the mind and the soul. It just is so much of a challenge to keep on pursuing. And God calls us to love our neighbors, and I mentioned that a couple times in the past, and I'm not trying to glorify myself. I'm trying to say is that we're called to love our neighbors. That's one of the great commandments. It's the second commandment: love God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind, and that you love your neighbors as yourself. So Mark 12:31 is the second part of the verse. It says, the second is that you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There's no greater commandment than these, that you love God most and foremost, and then secondly that you love your neighbor as yourself. And then people say, well, who's your neighbor? It goes on to say, your neighbor is those who are around you, those people in your church, those people in your family, those people who are dealing with uh, everyday struggles and things like that. So as a believer, we need to know our neighbors. We need to know person lives down this way and person lives that way. I know most of them neighbors to one side. I don't know very many of my neighbors off to another side. I've got to work on that. That's one of my goals, is to get to know all my neighbors within my sphere, right? My close neighbors. Plus the people in our church. We need to. I think small groups are a great way to show that love, and I saw that worked out in the church that Sue and Lloyd were members of. They did a great job as a small group and coming around them and helping support them. So they brought food and they came over and they did tasks. They worked in their garden. They mowed yard. I mean, my other neighbor mowed their yards. Me and my son have mowed their yard and taken care of things. Those are things that you can do to take the stress off of your neighbors, right? And I'm not and elderly neighbors, right? They don't have to be suffering through a horrible disease. Excuse me. But we have to know that we are called to show the love that God has shown us. And so that is one of our greatest witnesses, that we show love, that the Bible says they will know you because of your love, that you show the love of God to others. And so let's don't forget that. I mean, I have a hard time this political climate that we're in. Everything's so political that people are arguing and fighting about everything. And I'm prone to get in there and wrestle in there with them too. But I'm just saying that we've got to keep our focus on what God's called us to. And so there's some other verses here I'm going to go ahead and read from. I know Doug's tied up with some stuff going on right now, and he'll come back with this here in a second. But Ecclesiastes 7:8, better is the end of a thing than its beginning, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. And so Ecclesiastes, of course, one of Solomon's books, is just coming from the wisdom that God had given him, and that uh, when you have endured something and have stayed the course and you've been patient, excuse me, and you've been focused and in doing good, uh, at the end of that, you can sit back and see that God has did something to help you. You see that God has done a work in you as much as He has in that neighbor, or as in that friend, or as that other church member or family member. That God has plugged into Himself, plugged you into Himself, and has recharged you. And I encourage that when you are living for God, that you make sure you take the focus off yourself, because I can't. I couldn't do anything. There's things that required were required of myself and my wife that in my own flesh, I couldn't do. And God was able to come alongside and give me the ability to uh, go through that and try to be a help and try to be encouragement and try to remind them your prayer life is very important. And so if you don't spend a lot of time in prayer, you need to really dig into that, get into praying for your neighbors and get in that normal habit. And when you see your neighbors, ask them if there's anything you can pray for them for, right? Ask them how they're doing and encourage them. And they will do the same to you. I've gotten so much encouragement over the years from my neighbors, from Sue and Lloyd, have been such an encouragement to my wife and myself over the years. And so I hope I'm not betraying, I don't feel I'm betraying their trust in this, but you don't know how much that means to a young married couple when you're young and you're struggling. Uh, that someone comes along beside of you and is praying for you and is encouraging you and is trying to help you out and will bring over a bag of corn, or that they plucked out of their garden, or a bag of tomatoes when you've got, you're tight on money and you're struggling to get by. And so there's all kinds of things that you can do as a neighbor, as a brother in Christ to other people, as someone they may not even be saved, they're still your neighbor. And so we're called to encourage, we're called to lift up, we're called to help out our neighbors and to love our neighbors. And so all the different ways that works, you guys don't need me to preach about that, but I want to go ahead and read some more verses here. Galatians 6:9. Let's not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. And so my encouragement, in these verses is just persevere, as we said in the verses up in Romans there we were talking about earlier. We just have to persevere, and it's not in our strength that we persevere. It's in God's working in us and through us. We become the hands of God. We become the feet of God. We become the mouth of God to be able to speak scripture, to be able to speak encouragement, to be able to show the love, to come along and give them a hug, to come along and help them in whatever aspect of life they're dealing with. And it will grow you, just like in missions. When you go out and you put yourself out there outside of your comfort zone, and you step out there to do things that God is calling you to do, you know what I'm talking about. You'll feel that call of the Holy Spirit calling on you to step up and to be that man of God, that woman of God, to encourage these people. When you feel that, go forward and do it. Just like in mission trips, as I've always said, I've gotten more out of mission trips than I've ever given. And I'm not saying that in a greedy way. I'm saying that God has shown me things and has grown me and has let me know that his work will go on whether I go or not, and that he is allowing me to be a part of that. I'm not gracing my presence upon these people. God is allowing me the opportunity to go and be his servant, and in that it grows me. He shows me he's in control. I'm not. He has a plan. I don't always know what that plan is. He's going to tell me. But when you go and do what God calls you to go and do and die to yourself, you will find God working in your life much more than you will find that he's actually doing there. Most of the time, you'll find that he's working in your life so much more. And he's growing your faith. And I'm telling you, so many times that I've had these plans of how this mission trip was going to go, as leading a mission trip. This is what we're going to do. And we get there, we don't do any of that. God changes everything because he has a plan and he's brought us there for another reason. We might think we know what's going to happen. We don't. Same thing with serving your friends and your neighbors and your family. You don't always know what you're getting into, but God's going to show you his power and he's going to work things out. And so you can just put your faith in him. I hear you back.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Things happen.
I had a little bit of a work crisis I had to take care of real quick.
Good deal. We were just finished up Galatians 6:9. I was getting ready to jump into Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. That's something that I saw exhibited on this last mission trip. I'm not going to say the names, but I saw someone who I don't think was my opinion of them. That may not be wrong. It may be wrong. Was that they were not a worker, but on this trip, they worked so hard and diligent and were totally different than the example that I've seen displayed before the trip. and I heard them comment about how good it is to work for God and how it was that they were enjoying the work that God had given them on this trip. And and I remember days when I was working, when I was at a place that I didn't want to be, and I was slogging it out. I was doing my best for God, but I didn't enjoy it at all. And I had like 5 years of that dry season where I did not feel God working. And I see some conversation going on the side. Uh, God was not. I didn't see God's evident in working me, other than He was growing me in Scripture. I was reading more of the Bible than I ever had before. I was praying more than I ever had before, but I was just like stuck in this spot, and I couldn't move. And I had to persevere. I had to keep going on forward with what God was calling me to do, even though I felt like I wasn't making any progress at all for 5 years. And now I was about to go nuts. And I was talking to my pastor, and he's like, "You're just in that season. Just stay in the words, keep reading, keep studying, and God's gonna move you." And man, when God moved me, He moved me, right? He took me from where I was, and He turned my world upside down, and He put me in a total different place because I stayed obedient. I kept praying. I kept trying to focus on what God wanted me to do. It wasn't because of my effort. It's because what God wanted to do in me. He had to change some things in my heart. He had to change my thoughts about things. He had to change my focus into a different area. And when he did that, man, it's like boom, it just happened. And then I could see what God was doing in me for those 5 years when I thought nothing was going on. God was doing all kinds of things. He was trimming
Mhm.
and pruning, and He was fertilizing here, and He was molding me this way and turning me that way to make me to be the person I needed to be to go to the next step. And He does the same thing in all of us. He's going to work on us, and He's going to change us. He's going to make us more in His image if we allow Him to. If we don't stay stuck on ourselves, and if we stay focused on God, He can do it a lot faster. I was being rebellious in a lot of that period of time, and it was just my self-centeredness, my arrogance, and the attitude that He had to work on and tweak until He got my attention and got me pointing in the right direction. That's the way God works. He's patient. He doesn't give up. He keeps moving you towards the goal. Maybe you don't feel like it, but He's moving you towards the goal. So the sooner you get on the same team with God, the faster that moves. I can tell you. So whenever you're in a struggle, first thing I do now is, God, what is it you're trying to teach me through this? What is it that I need to learn from this experience I'm going through? Because I know you're going to take care of it. I already know God's going to take care of the problem. Whatever it is, wherever it pops up, I tell my wife, I say, hey, God's going to get us through it. He's got us through everything in our past. He's always gotten us through it. He promises He's going to get us through it. He promises He's going to provide a way. We don't have to understand why. We don't have to understand the way it's going to happen. We don't even have to know how it's happening. But it will happen. We know that. We stand on the faith that God has fulfilled His promises. That He's going to bless those who love Him and serve Him. And so you just have to stay plugged into that and keep continuing that path. Keep moving that ball down the road, right? So James 1 2 1 James 1:12 ESV version again. Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love Him. And so we have many promises from God that He is going to do what He says He's going to do. He's going to give us the crown of life. He's going to give us eternal salvation. He's going to give us the things that we need in order that we might progress on, and in order that we might be with Him forever. And I just encourage you guys, stay plugged in the Scripture, stay just knowing, having the faith, standing on the firm foundation of God's promises that we will endure. We will go through trials. Yes, we will endure great pains and struggles. We may even be martyred for the cause, for the gospel, right? And great is our reward if we are. But if we keep continuing on and keep focused and keep moving towards the goal God has for us, letting Him mold us and make us into the image of Him in this world, being His hands, His feet, and His mouth to be able to speak and share and love on all those around us. Keep plugged in, keep going on. Doug, jump in here.
No, I got a perfect example of that. Back before my dad passed away, he had cancer, and he got to the point where he could not work at all. And he was trying to get Social Security benefits, and they were denying him and this, that, and he was not working. So he didn't have any money coming in. But my dad, and my dad, the
Yep.
listeners don't know my dad, and most of them probably don't know my dad. And there might be one or two. But anyway, my dad had strong faith all the way up to the very end. And, I'd talk to him and I'm like, you know, he was not working, didn't have any money coming in. And right when they would need something, they'd have something.
Mm-hmm.
An anonymous envelope would show up on the door with money, and people donating money and helping them out and this and that. I mean, he never left his faith at all, not one time. And back in those days, I was not I was not your model Christian. I was Christian, but I'd had some things in my life that happened, and you get to that point where we all get where we get drugged down and we're far away, and you just really don't believe. You believe, but you're in that tough place. And my dad always said that if his cancer helped somebody on the other side to bring them back, it was worth it to him. And little did I know that it was going to be me that he was talking about. And I started, I saw that, and my dad, in the months that he did not work, and it was close to a year probably before he passed away, when he couldn't do anything. And he probably took in $10,000 more that year, not working at all, just having his faith and letting God handle things. He probably took in 10,000 more than he would have made working to start with.
Yeah.
And God provided for him, and he never lost his faith all the way up to the very end. He would go to church when he could, and when he felt like it. And he got to the point where he just didn't feel like it. And even then, people from the church would come to the house, and and he was a deacon in the church, and he was very faithful. And even the money that even though they were not making any money that came to them, that people gave them anonymously or whatever, they were tithing to the church and giving back.
Yep.
And it just kept coming. It just kept coming. And it just amazed me that people had done that. And it kind of restored my faith. And like he said, if him having cancer and the things that he was going through helped somebody, it was worth it to him.
Yep. Yeah, I can remember those days. Your parents both just had a faith like no other. Just strong faith. Your mother never worried. She said, "Oh, God's got this. I ain't worried about it."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I go visit her at the hospital and stuff. She said, "Take me to church." I'm like, "I can't take you out of here." "No, you can take me to church." I was like, "They won't let me take you out of here." She said, "I'm going to go to church." I was like, "Okay."
If she was going to find a way now.
Oh yeah.
She was going to church. It did not matter to her.
Yeah.
She used to drive me and my brother crazy to the point where I'm like, let her go. She's like, my mom, she would always tell me, she said, "Well, what's the worst thing going to happen to me? I'm going to die and I'm going to get to go to heaven." I was like, "Rock on, get in the car, let's go."
Yeah. I told her, I said, "Well, I knew the reason why you didn't want her, because I know that it messed up the insurance, because if you took him out of the hospital, then then you had to get them all back checked in again and stuff. And then finally, I think they got a nurse to finally go with her."
Dude, she talked that nurse into going with her
and
took him to church with her.
Yeah, because she said, I got to go." He said, "Well, if I go with you, then that way you'll be under my supervision, and you won't mess up your, I guess it was Medicare or Medicaid, I forget what it was."
Mm-hmm.
But somehow the way it worked, if she left the hospital, then they had to check her out, and then they wouldn't check her back in, kind of thing. You had to pay for it.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta tell this story because where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And my mom was, God bless her, she was strong-willed. She was trying to get out to go to church, calling everybody she knew, called me and my brother, and we're like, "No, you gotta stay in the hospital, Mom. You can't leave." "Well, I'm going to church." I'm like, "No." She's like, "Well, I'm gonna call a cab." And we had called all the cab companies in Elizabethtown and told them, "Do not go to the hospital and pick her up." And they all agreed. And we told her that. So she is sitting in her room in the chair, waiting, hoping that she's going to get to go to church. And she was still in her room. And lo and behold, if somebody from the church didn't accidentally walk in her room, they were visiting somebody else and went to the wrong room and walked in my mom's room, totally by coincidence. And my mom was like, well, hey, she said, are you going to church after you get done visiting? He said, I am. She said, you mind if I ride with you? He's like, no, come on. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, go, just go.
Yeah, I remember I called you. I said, I don't think I'm supposed to take your mom out here. No.
No, please don't. But hey, where there was a will, there was a way. She found her way, and
yeah, I didn't even know she was there at one time because at that time they were at the new church, and I was a bereavement and visitation deacon, and so I was there visiting another member from our other church, and I walked by like, Barbara, and she goes, yeah, honey, come on here. It's like, I didn't know you was in here. Oh yeah, I'm here. Said, you give me a ride to church. It's like, I don't think I could do that. I think I'd get in trouble.
yeah, I think her nurse's name was Andrew. I think I still remember that.
Yeah.
And he was her nurse, and she's like, we're going to church. And he's like, well, I can't take you out of here, Miss McDowell. And she said, well, I'm going with you or without you. And he said, all right, hold on. And took her.
Yep.
Scrubs and everything.
Yep.
And he brought her back. She was under a nurse's care. So
yep. That's how they do it.
I was like, Lord have mercy.
He was.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. You guys have any questions over on the side? I haven't really been paying attention. I saw Gustavo's prayer request over there. We'll definitely be praying for his son.
Absolutely.
We both know what that's like.
Yeah.
And have endured and are enduring. So we'll keep those prayers in mind. Anybody else have any questions? Let us know. So Patreon. Because they think I guess we're too something. So we can't have Patreon anymore. So if you guys just want mail checks, that's fine or whatever. But remember some prayer first and foremost, and then you can save money through ammo.com. You want to tell them about that, Doug?
Sure. Like we talked about earlier, ammo.com. Go out and check them out. They got good prices on ammunition. If you buy $200 worth, which is not a hard thing to do when you're buying ammo, $200 or more, and you get $20 off of your order when you check out using our promo code God and Guns. And at checkout, when you do check out, they donate 1% of the proceeds out of their pocket that they take in to a charity of your choice, and they let you pick it. So you can't go wrong with that. So go check out our buddies ammo.com and use the promo code God and Guns.
All right. We also want to tell you about our patches and our stickers. God and Guns patch up here. We got stickers look like this thing behind us, except they don't have all that brown leather looking stuff at the sides. But you can stick them on your mugs and on your cars and on your whatever. My thing is froze up over here. I don't know what's going on. Started driving me crazy. Also, we've got some other swag in there. I can't remember what all else we got. We got some. Oh, we got some of those. I don't have them up here right now. The sword versus if you don't have a sword, go out and sell your cloak and buy one. Verse patch, and I think we have stickers too. Patches, I know. We have a few of those, and we have maybe a few of those. Patriot Patch made those gun mats for us as well. I think we got a few of those left. I'm looking at getting a couple other things for the store. Just been really just busy, wore out, running. So I haven't even done anything since I've been back other than getting the show ready.
We got a gun mat with God and Guns on it?
Not yet. We can get one of those. We don't have one yet, but we ought to get that in the store.
That would be
Yeah. DeVore, if you are not familiar with DeVore is a clearinghouse for Optics Planet, and they have the coolest stuff for gun guys like us and gals, and fishing and hunting and outdoor activities and camping and hiking and anything outdoors. They got on DeVore. Use our link. If you use our link, they'll send us a little bit of love, and we'll use that to buy something. And outdoor. What was I saying? Oh, Hoplite Armor. If you would like to buy armor, check our buddy at Lyman Bishop at Hoplite Armor. We're an affiliate. If you buy through him, he'll send us a little bit of love. Zija is something I take every day. I take the Super Mix, which helps with my inflammation. I have gotten so many testimonies back from you guys that I've sent samples to. One of our listeners has lost like 24 pounds in the first few weeks of being on it, and has signed up as a customer now, and we really appreciate that.
really.
But if you want to know more about Zija and what it's done for me, my testimony is on our site called God and Guns, with spelled out GODANDGUNS dot. That's a period. My Zija. That's MYZIJA.com. Check it out. And if you want to know more about it, send me a message through there, or send me a message on my email, and I will try to endeavor to help you. And if you want a business, if you want another business, try to help make some more money, it is a great business opportunity. And so if you guys buy stuff through us, that will help us out as well. And then you've got next to
Crossbreed holsters. You've heard us talk about them. Troy got to go see the shop, see all the folks in there, Murray and Carol and Nathan and everybody down there making holsters. Most comfortable holsters you're going to wear. Troy and I both use the Super Tuck Deluxe. We love them. They have all kinds of holsters that you can use. If you want one next for your bedside that sticks on something, they got that. If you got one for a pocketbook and you need something for that, they got it. They got belly bands, drop slides, inside the waistband, outside the waistband, and they got them for pretty much any gun that you want to carry. They are comfortable. I can't tell you how comfortable these things are. So go check them out, crossbreedholsters.com. Use our promo code GNG and get a discount on us for just listening to the show. And it shows them that you guys are listening to and buying their product, and helps us out. Axelson Tactical. I've been carrying my Axelson Tactical pig hunting and been whacking them. It is dead on the money. A precision rifle. It's the nicest shooting rifle I've ever owned, and that's no joke. Just because they help us out and stuff, but it is a sweet shooting gun. They make custom rifles. They customize pistols. If you want a nice Glock 19, they have one. What's it called? The Axe 19, I think it is.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful gun.
Man,
Stippled and everything.
I'm saving up. I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one of those things. It's just a gorgeous gun. They do knives. They got a backpack that you can put your gun in. It's actually a gun case, but it folds up into a backpack. And you can lay that thing, unzip it, lay it completely out, and it turns into a mat that you can shoot off of.
Yeah, shooting mat.
Shooting mat. It's awesome. They got all kinds of stuff out there. Now that they got the new store, you can pretty much get any kind of gun that you want through them at really good prices. So go check them out, AxelsonUSA.com. Use the promo code God and Guns, and they will give you a 10% discount for listening to us as well.
Sure enough. Antarius Alliance. We are an Antarius Alliance lifetime member. They are a group of patriots and first responders and veterans. They've started their own companies that are supporting our veterans and first responders, families, and things like that with different types of charities. They are all great companies. You need to check them out. Go over to AntariusAlliance.com. You can find out more about all the different companies over there. You can become an annual member or a life member. Well, I don't have any life members, so there's only 100 life members. So once those 100 life members are gone, it gives you lifetime discounts on all those different companies. And they all offer different discounts, different package deals, things like that. So go check them out at AntariusAlliance.com. I put a link in here, our show notes for Russ Bianchi. When I lost 120 let's see, I lost 130 pounds in 6 months. I went from 465 pounds down to 330 pounds in 6 months. First 110, 12 pounds I lost in the first 3 months. Using Zija and using the diet plan. It's not really a diet plan. It's just things that you should eat, things you shouldn't eat, things you should avoid at all costs. List, and then you eat within what's left there. And then there's all kinds of things you can eat. It's pretty much a keto type diet, and they warns you about lots of products that you would think would be safe that aren't. That's a list that's for free. It's a PDF download, 3 or 6 pages, something like that. A lot of people asked about that. Hey, what's this diet you're talking about? I just followed that list, and I followed the requirements for the Zija on the packaging. That's all I did. So that and of course, it took some willpower. I mean, it's not just going to be magic. There is no magic pill. But these are products that are nutritional products, and they help cut the cravings. They help, like the XM3 pills I took. They help cut the cravings, help give me energy, and it would just change my life. It saved my life. It honestly did. My friend Chris Rogers, Chris, he got me introduced to it, and that was just that's what saved my life. That and following that diet. It was a godsend. I can tell you straight up. All right, so we got NRA Armed Citizen. What you got?
NRA Armed Citizen. I like this one. Tampa pastor holds suspected intruder at gunpoint until police arrive. And this was posted July the 11th. Tampa, Florida, WFLA. Florida pastor held a suspected intruder at gunpoint while he waited for police to arrive, authorities said. Police said that Miguel Otero Rivera set off the alarm at the Seminole Heights Baptist Church shortly before 1 a.m. Rivera had allegedly broke through a window, then broke several other windows and door frames while inside the building, causing several $1,000s worth of damage, according to the church's pastor, Brian Adams. The alarm company alerted Adams, who arrived on scene, and held the intruder at gunpoint until law enforcement was able to arrive. Otero Rivera was arrested and charged with burglary, grand theft, possession of burglary tools, possession of heroin, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Pistol packing pastor.
There you go. I don't know how many times I had to go at Techno when we had break-in alarms, security alarms going off, and me and the police walked that factory. Over the years. I bet I walked that factory at least 50 or 60 times. People trying to pry in the doors, get in the doors, or I don't know, something scurrying around there, set off the alarms, and I'd go 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, wind blow or something, and set it off one of the alarms. We go over. I knew every one of those police officers by name. We walk through, pistols out, lights on, scanning. It takes a little while to walk 180,000 square feet of factory.
No doubt.
Clearing all the conveyors and all the bathrooms and all the side rooms, and oh man, we found one guy had broke in, and he had made him a bed up in a bunch of boxes in our storage area, and run him out. And man, no telling how many times we had stuff stolen from outside the building. It's just, and it's not that big of a crime area. It's just, I don't know. People think, I guess, the factory is okay steal where they want to from a factory, because man, we always were having people try to break in. But they're doing it to churches now, more and more.
It's craziness.
Yep. I remember the old days, nobody locked the church up. You want to go to the church, pray, you just go in there and go open up, go inside and pray. Nowadays, you got to have a key or a pass or something to get in there, keyword or a fob or something to get in the church anymore.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. Anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
No, they're good right at the moment.
All right. Good deal. Thank you, Steve and Rondo and Gustavo. And who else we got there? We saw Michelle was in there earlier.
Michelle was in there. John's
in there. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like us, give us a thumbs up on the YouTube there. We really appreciate that. It will help us get a little higher ratings, and tell your friends about us. Send your feedback to Troy at GuyGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GodandGunsPodcast.com.
tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review, please, and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/God and Guns Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you go up there and you click that subscribe button, and then you click that little notification bell thing so that you'll get notified every time we go live or whatever. It'll send you a little instant message or something. You'll get a little ding on your phone or something. You can follow us on Twitter at God and Guns Pod. It's a little bit more political than it should be over there. I got slap myself around every once in a while, and I get a little bit political when I shouldn't. But it's a spiritual war. I'm not saying Republicans are godly. I'm saying that the Democrats are the devil.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying either. I'm saying that certain people are more communistic leaning, and other people are not. And but I'm just as mad at a lot of Republicans as I am Democrats right now.
Yes, indeed.
I just expect it from Democrats. I just don't expect it from Republicans, which I guess I should, because they're all sinners just like the rest of us. But so I'm over there on Twitter. You can follow me if you dare. And then on Instagram, I'm over there. I put stuff up from time to time. My wife doesn't let me post a lot of stuff while I'm traveling, because if she's at home and I'm out, she don't want anybody come banging on the door.
Right.
You don't have to shoot anybody if she don't have to, but she will. She
would.
So will my daughter. So we're all home now. My neighbors will shoot people too. So don't come around here unless you let me know you're coming. All right. Website, GuyandGunsPodcast.com. Doug is going to do something about that one of these days. Because I can't.
It's going to have to be a complete do-over.
Yeah. We need like a webmaster guru guy that come in, and girl come in here and fix us for free.
Yeah, exactly.
We get that much money. All right, Doug. Anybody else got anything out there? Good night, Gustavo, and good night, Rando. We'll have to check out that Patreon alternative.
Yep.
We'll look into that. One of us will. Hopefully by next week. I think it's it. Oh, we're over on MeWe. Somebody was asking about trading guns today. One of our mutual friends here in Lurkay. Yeah, it's like, go to MeWe. Go over there. You can trade guns there.
Freely.
Right. Freely. Yep. Till next time, Doug, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bibles closer.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like us. Hit that like button down there. I don't see any like. Do you see any likes on your side? I see one like.
4.
4? Okay. Well, it ain't updating on mine for some reason. So you guys make sure you like that, please. And we will talk to you guys later. And we will be praying, Gustavo.
Yep.
And Laugh Out Loud website. Yeah, Steve. It's a joke at this point. It's a joke. All right. Good night. I'm shutting her down.